assessment. In this talk, we will talk about the various modes of assessment and the principles of assessment that you need to consider when designing a module specification. Assessment really matters to students, and I'd like to read this quote out to you to illustrate that point. Assessment defines what students regard as important, how they spend their time, and how they come to see themselves as students and then as graduates. If you want to change student learning, then change the methods of assessment. What this quote is saying to me is that though we would say there's more to our courses in assessment, the students focus a lot on it. It really defines them. Therefore, if you want to make meaningful changes to learning experience and how students engage with something, then change the assessment. Move from assessment of learning to assessment for learning. Types. So a clear consideration is what assessment mode will you use in your new module. This slide here includes a wide range of assessment modes used in higher education. And really, I'm asking you here to think as broad as possible, not be constrained by assessment modes that you've experienced yourself or are used elsewhere on the program. Some of these assessment modes will be very familiar to you, and others may be new. For example, assessment stations, originally conceived in medicine, where the students move around a series of terminals or computer stations, and on each is a small practical or knowledge-based task, which collectively add up to the assessment point. For those of you unfamiliar with assessment modes, you may wish to have a go at Assessment the Game. Assessment the Game is a toolkit that I developed for Advanced HE. It's designed as a team game, ideally used within a task and finish group, in which there are 61 different assessment modes commonly used in higher education. The game's structure is simple and basically asking you to challenge your traditional orthodoxies on how certain learning outcomes are assessed. Even if you do not wish to play the game, you may wish to download the 61 assessment types to understand the range of possibilities that exist to you when designing your module spec. Each card includes the name of the assessment and a one-line description of it. The link to this game is at the end of the presentation. Key principles. There are several things that you need to think about with regards to your assessment on your module specification now, even though you may not actually have to articulate them on the module specification. First one is fairness, which is making sure that the students have a fair opportunity from the assessment to demonstrate the learning outcomes. In fact, that they have the opportunity to demonstrate mastery. The second one is fitness. So fitness includes the fairness previously mentioned, but it's also about fitness of the assessment for you. So what will the assessment look like? How easy will it be to develop? How easy will it be to articulate to the students? How easy will it be to mark? And how easy will it be to provide feedback? The next one is skill development, thinking about some of the more transferable and generic skills that are important for all of our graduates, and how these can be embraced in your assessment choice. The next one is outcome-based assessment, thinking, can the assessment be part of the learning package itself rather than just assessing content? Rather than just assessing the infographic, make the assessment incorporate the use of the tools to make the infographic. They learn through the tool through creating the infographic. Is there an opportunity for any flexibility within there? A key component of our learning and teaching strategy. Can we include some choice within the assessment or even the assessment mode itself, provided the balance of assessment modes is covered across the program? And the final thing is about motivation for both you and the student. Diversity of assessment across the program can be a key driver in motivation, as can some of the other things I've already mentioned. If students enjoy it, they're more likely to engage. If you enjoy it, you echo that back to the students. So make sure you, I want to use the word love, but I'll go for like or feel the assessment at this early stage, because if you don't, you're setting yourself up to fail. Finally, sources. The two sources here, they're linked to the assessment, the game, which does include a guide on how to use it in a remote setting. And finally, a link to the University of Derby assessment and feedback strategy, which includes a number of criteria that you may consider when planning your assessment.